In the last 200 years leading up to the 23rd century, the world has been a volatile place. Nations have risen and fallen. During this tumultuous period, the shape of the world has altered considerably, both geographically and politically. Massive reformation of governments and countries has occurred under the crushing pressure of the economic crisis. Many nations collapsed under its weight, no longer able to sustain a stable government. These countries were driven into anarchy. Civilization plummeted into near-medieval levels. Other countries managed to survive, but only by merging with surrounding neighbours and forming new nations whose collective economic power would enable survival in the future. Very few countries were able to remain in their pre-21st century forms following the financial disaster. Some countries that were once world leaders, like the United States of America and England, have suffered an enormous power vacuum. Their world influence has now substantially reduced. Even the strongest nations in the world are heavily subjected to the influence of the megacorps. Because of this, governmental corruption has skyrocketed, even in countries that were formerly politically stable. In many countries, the government is only a puppet of the megacorps. Because of their drastically reduced budgets, countries only supply a fraction of the services they did in the 21st century. Policing is generally only supplied to the wealthy city areas. Much the same can be said for fire and ambulance services. Schools in the sprawls are sparse and overpopulated. Very little government funding is supplied to any non-essential services, and social welfare is but a thing of the past. 23rd century politicians are forced to negotiate not only with the megacorp interests, but also gangs and criminal syndicates who are able to line their pockets and fund city projects. Because unemployment is so high, the revenues from income taxes are minimal, and the thriving black market also reduces government funds. Political leaders face pressure from all directions in their attempt to create robust economies and improve the standard of living. But many see politics as only a means of advancing their own self-interests. Many citizens of former countries have now been combined into new conglomerate nations that seek a redelineation of national borders. This comes from a desire to regain their lost national and racial identities. No matter which way you look at it, the nations of the 23rd century are under a lot of pressure. Entities from all directions are pulling at their limbs.